anthem to play.
Be sure you tell
Oops.
them what it is.
Hang on, you have a good idea to actually
Have it.
turn the volume.
Your buddy.
Good morning, Diego, and stand by for the Spanish national anthem. Amplify doesn't like this.
It's sort of like a constant theme that you.
Buenos dias, everyone. October 12th, I think it is, 12th of October, Spanish National Day. So that was why we had the Spanish National Anthem to kick things off today. And I think a lot of people in Fiji are actually also celebrating their Wednesday Day, seeing as it's the weekend. Patricia and David with you. 8752, the frequency seems to be working pretty well, certainly to Fiji at the moment. Gold Harbour Radio, better say that, ZMH286. That's our number that we get from the authorities, ZMH286. And we have a really snotty day. And it truly is snotty. We had torrential rain all yesterday afternoon, followed by the wind overnight. It's now blowing. It's only blowing about 15 knots here from the west. 1005 and dropping, and 100% cloud cover. 15 degrees, 15 degrees, and very unpleasant up there, just north of the country. Katinga is certainly got the westerlies at the moment, and we're hoping he's going to move to get in, but he's at 3427 and 17546 with a very steady 30 knots from the west, just a slight bit of north in it. So the wind is okay. He's got storm jib up, very messy seas though, and he's trying to get to the coast to get down. The southerlies come tomorrow, so hopefully he'll be all good there. Certainly seems to be dealing with it okay. But yes, not very pleasant weather at the moment. I think, let me just check on it. Sounds beautiful actually up there in Minerva. 3 boats there at South Minerva at the moment. Calm, not a breath of air. Isn't it nice to be stuck somewhere where it is actually decent? Clear skies, the sea's breaking on the reef, less than a metre, and up there the barometer is 1019. And those 3 boats, Flying Fish, Let's Go, and another one. Looking forward to what David has to say this morning. So they'll be looking forward to get going. But I tell you what, if you're stuck somewhere, that's a very good place to be stuck with those conditions. Now, I'm just looking at what else has come up here. It looks very pleasant pretty much throughout the Pacific this morning, which is good. I'll just tell you what Obsession have got. They left yesterday with some other boats. They are currently at 19 and 17642 with 10 to 15 southeast gusty winds, 70% cloud cover, and the bar is climbing from 1013. So there you have it, and we'll be discussing that passage, or David will be discussing that passage shortly. But I'll get on to some news just to keep you up to date with what's going on in the world. Actually, talking about Obsession, there was quite a news article yesterday from India. There's a tiger, or was it a lion? I always get the two confused. Tiger, was it? Yeah. Yep, a tiger has been actually having some pretty good meals on the locals. lately, and they are now going to trap him, the tiger, using Obsession, the Calvin Klein perfume. Evidently, it's very successful. It has a component that tigers go absolutely mad over, and they have actually caught a couple of tigers already in India using Obsession. So they're going to be using that perfume to trap this guy who's already had a couple of human appetizers. So there you are, Lisa and Lester. Okay, we have quite an interesting article here from MPI. They're the people that are insistent upon having a clean hull when you come to New Zealand. They have now contributed $5.3 million to the 7-year R&D program to create new varieties of hops, beer making hops. They want something that is distinctly Kiwi. This is the microbrewery group. They're contributing about $7 billion to this effort. The government has got concerned that 2 of our really good microbreweries have been just taken over by the big boys. Emerson's in Dunedin has been sold to Australia's Lion, and Wellington's Tuatara, which has got really good beer, has been bought by DB, Dominion Breweries here. So the idea is to get a distinctly New Zealand tasting beer, such as the wine industry has done with the Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc with its distinctive gooseberry flavour. They want a beer that's truly New Zealand. I hope it's a lot better than that Belgian beer made from wheat, which I think tastes disgusting. But anyway, that's the idea. A lot of millions of dollars are going into a new beer for New Zealand. Monsanto, you will recall a while ago I told you that Monsanto's Roundup, they lost, well actually owned by Bayer now, the German pharmaceutical company. They recently lost a case in America with a guy who was a groundskeeper at a school and got some lymphoma cancer. And he won the case, $289 million. I'm not sure how he's going to use all that, given that he's on death row. But anyway, Monsanto, of course, appealed, and there will be a new trial. We didn't think that he would see much of his $289 million. I was going to talk about the UK and Brexit, but it's so complicated. Poor Theresa May, you can't win. There's sort of about 3 groups. One that wants totally out of Brexit with no concessions. There's her that wants out but with concessions so that they get some concessions. And then there's the one that wants to stay in. So it's all very complicated in the UK. And anybody from the UK, you'll just have to read all about it when you get somewhere. The major news at the moment is the stock markets around the world. There was a tremendous drop yesterday in the United States. The Dow dropped 800 points, and that just triggered, well, actually, the reason it dropped 800 points is that President Trump attacked what he thought were crazy US rate hikes. I think I mentioned that the Feds had raised the hikes. He thinks that the Feds have gone crazy. He doesn't mind his words. No, he says what he thinks, and he thinks that the Feds have gone crazy. Well, the Dow dropped 800 points, then the Nikkei dropped 4%, the Hong Kong 2.5%, the Australians 2.9%, the German DAX 2.2%, and our, such as it is, ours dropped 3.6%. So the world is a bit jittery at the moment with the stock exchange. Absolute millions and millions of dollars have been wiped off many stocks. So that's what's going on at the moment. So hopefully your things are spread out to keep you cruising. A senior Chinese official has been charged finally with stealing US trade secrets. They were quite cunning. They lured him to Belgium, who has an extradition agreement with the United States. So now he's in Cincinnati. He has been paying somebody in the aerospace industry, GE I think it was, a lot of money to filter off a lot of very interesting technical trade secret stuff. So he's now facing charges in Cincinnati. There's been another earthquake off Bali. Boy, they're getting a few of them. And that's about as far as I got, because Suan, the sailing vessel Suan, emailed me in their details. They're coming to New Zealand as well, and gave me the link to their website. Boy, what a wondrous website it was. And I watched a video that was on there from Dazzler with the eagle rays, the tame eagle rays in Moorea, and it was just fascinating. When you do, if you do have websites, folk, and you've got a tracking device that goes straight through to them, please let me know. I stick it on my site here. I've just got an Excel spreadsheet going so I can quickly find where you are if you are not on yet. So let me know what your website is. And of course, I sit here with the weather that we've got at the moment and drool about being up there in the warm, beautiful, clear waters, particularly off Moorea there. That's about it, really. I got really disheartened when I saw the motoring section this morning. Harley Davidson is going to release 5 electric motorbikes starting next year. Can you imagine it? I could just see the mongrel mob trotting along the highway with quiet bikes. Well, I can't quite see it. My imagination is really not that good. But, boy, what an amazing thing. Harley Davidson with electric motorbikes. I think we've seen it all. I think it's time to hang up our tyres or whatever. All right. That's about it from me. I know there's a lot of stuff to get through this morning, so I'll just do a pause in case there's anybody out there wants to contact us. And if anybody does, now's your opportunity. Please call now. Heatwave, and good morning to you, Sue. Where are you? Well, I didn't quite catch that. Did anybody catch what Sue said? First of all, I want to know whether they've gone or not. Sue, are you on your way? Just give me a roger, roger. Okay, a roger, roger. So just give me degrees only. Degrees only, over. Well, I'm just not getting that. I've got 17, but not getting the rest of it. Did anybody copy, Sue? Go ahead. Okay, 177. All those 7s I got confused with. Okay, thank you for that. And David will certainly be covering that, so it's probably a good time for me to pass the microphone. I think you all started with fairly decent conditions, so that's good. And we'll see what he's got for the next few days. As you know, folks, on a Friday, what we do. Oh, and in fact, I just looked at the emails that have just come in because they weren't there a few minutes ago, and I have got that now 19301775, 15 knots from the southeast. Thanks for that. The radio is scratching. I'll just see whether anybody else is having troubles, but I've certainly got that one anyway. We're loud and clear in South Minerva, so that's good. And I'll just check streaming to make sure we're all is well there. And I think it is, so that's about it. It sounds quite nice at Wunda. Oh no, that was yesterday. David wants the microphone, so here he is. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. I'll try this. Good morning, cruisers. Oh, well, I'm a Vietnam vet, so I thought I'd copy that famous radio greeting from, what was his name? Adrian Kana. He was real. Yeah, that was quite the thing to listen to him. All right, all those underway for New Zealand, a bunch of you. So here is the latest from the various models that I look at, plus some of my own input. Now, Tonga and Fiji looking pretty good for a send-off. East to east-southeast, it depends on where you are. Saturday, looking tomorrow, pretty light air, mostly southeast winds in the morning, but it's going to be picking up in the afternoon tomorrow, probably 15 to 18 knots or so. And I would guess 20 knots by about midnight. Now, on Sunday morning, you could expect south-southeast, 20 knots or so, and that's going to be building up to 20 to 25 knots, and a good solid 25 knots by dinner, and that will be mostly southeast winds, give or take, on the direction. Now, by Monday, the fleet should be near 25 south, 25 south, and I expect southeast winds 25 to 30 all day, 25 to 30, and on Tuesday at about 27 south, 27 south, we'll be looking at east-southeast about 25 to 30, and Wednesday, getting down there to about 30 south, we should see a little bit of an ease, a wind ease, and I hope you'll be happy with that. I think you'll see about 15 to 20 knots, mostly easterlies, so that's pretty good news, being battered up to that point. And the reason for that ease, while that Tasman high is still very strong, 1038 millibar, and again it's still in the Tasman by then, a nice ridge starts to punch out to the northeast, and when that happens, the isobars spread out just a wee bit, so be thankful if that happens. Models are disagreeing a little bit on the shape of that ridge, so the big ease may only be a slightly nicer ease, but they all show a little bit of isobaric spreading, and that'll be happy news for you, I'm sure. Now, Wednesday and Thursday of next week look pretty good, around 30 south. Fairly light air, and generally from the east, give or take again on that direction. Now, it's south of 30 that the wind shifts. On Friday, at say 32 south, we'll be looking at possibly northeast winds to maybe variable. It's quite possible the wind could be virtually from any direction. Fairly light air, of course, and looking to shift to the west. They're wanting to come from that direction at that point. The speed probably about 10 to 15 knots or so. Now, Saturday, approaching New Zealand, the wind direction is probably going to be west to southwest, but fairly light. The high center, well, the high is still strong, but the center is going to be roughly just to the northwest of North Cape. It's still about 1029 millibar, but because you're near the center of the high, there's hardly any pressure differential at that point, so the air is going to be much better, much lighter. So for most of you, that's about your ETA, I believe. So that's more or less the journey. You'll note that this latest analysis this morning is a lot better than yesterday. That's good news in one regard, but not so good in another. We shouldn't really see such a shift that quickly. So all of this is subject to change for those of you that are underway. And the reason for the change has to do with the complex depression that is currently over New Zealand as we speak. You've heard Patricia talk about the weather that we've got, and it's going to be pretty crummy right through Saturday here. Now, the models had it extending further to the north after passing through New Zealand, but the most recent runs instead have it going more or less to the southeast. And that's based on, probably about 4 or 5 models are thinking that that's where it's going to go. Had it been the other way around, had that low gone a little bit northwards, a little bit more equatorward, if you will, those southeast winds would have been southerlies. Not just sporty, but downright nasty. And that's what it was looking like as of yesterday. So thank goodness that it appears the low is changing its direction. Now, I should mention that GFS is, in fact, picking up a low to form on the northwest corner of this big high that we've got. And that's roughly going to be around the Wednesday time frame. In fact, they show the high splitting as well, actually, in other words, having 2 centers. And by the way, the run that this is from is the 12 Zulu run. In other words, midnight. It's about as recent pushes toward New Zealand. creating northeast winds at 30 south, and then the low gets a stop sign. Doesn't go anywhere, but then decides to fade to the west. So this is a bit of a fly in the ointment, but I thought I would mention it. Now, the only other model that's picking this up is UK Met. NavGem does not pick it up. CMC does not pick it up. JMA does not pick it up. And even the GFS Ensemble does not pick it up. So to me, it looks like it's an outlier. I don't think it's actually going to happen. So we'll stick for now with everything that I just told you. And then we'll keep you up to date as you're heading south next week. And we'll see what has changed. You're always going to have changes in this. The models are never going to be dead nuts for an entire week, that's for sure. In fact, most people at Met Service here that I know as personal friends, they call off models to be good for 3 days. I'm sure you don't want to hear that, but that's their view of it. Okay, looking at the islands weekend winds now, we'll look at Tonga first, which on imagery shows scattered cloud. For Vavao, these clouds are moving to the west, but down in the Tonga Tapu area, they're moving to the east. The actuals this morning at about 6 a.m., Vavao southeast at 10 knots, scattered cloud, a lot of towering cumulus in the area, all up and down Tonga. Towering cumulus. These are big, big cumulus clouds that are just on the verge of becoming thunderstorms, but haven't quite developed to that stage yet. Anyhow, barometer 1014. The Hapais east-southeast 10 knots, scattered barometer 1014 as well. Tonga Tapu easterlies at 6, and they had quite a bit of towering cumulus as well. Barometer a little bit higher, 1016. The winds by lunchtime today, looking at east, maybe east-northeast, about 10 to 15. Saturday, north to northeast, about 10 to 15. And on Sunday, northwest 10 to 12 for the Vavaos and Vavao and the Hapais. Tonga Tapu, southeast winds, and maybe even southeast, and that'll be around 15 knots. So with those differences in wind direction, don't be surprised by convective activity over the weekend. Over to Fiji now, imagery shows quite a bit of cloud moving about. The Lau looks very nice, however. Now, I would suspect that scattered showers in these clouds are going to occur, not frequent, but just watch out for them. There could very well be some thunderstorm activity off and on over the weekend as well. So while it's looking quite nice at the moment, particularly the reports that we've gotten, just be wary that this could happen. Saturday and Sunday, to me, does look like troughing conditions. Winds today, we're looking at east-southeast, around 15 knots. Southeast for Saturday, mostly 15 as well, but lighter in the Lau. On Sunday, expect the winds to pick up. Still southeast, but getting up to 20 knots. That's 20 knots. And stronger around southwest Viti Levu. It's always pretty strong in that area. That wind tends to accelerate around that corner. So anyhow, expect that. But by afternoon on Sunday, the winds are going to pick up even more for Fiji in general. We're looking at southeast about 25 knots and probably higher gusts. Now on Monday, it does blow. I'm looking at southeast 25 to 30. So tie down your hat come Monday. Over to Vanuatu now. It looks very nice on satellite imagery. Most of the scattered cloud is moving west to east. The winds are generally southeast, though, around 15 knots. Winds picking up a little bit on Saturday. Southeasterlies about 15 to 20, but a good 20 knots by the afternoon. On Sunday, even more breeze, 20 to 25 knots out of the southeast. The stronger winds are going to be in the south of the country. On Monday, watch out on Monday. I think we're going to be looking at southeast 25 knots with higher gusts. So anchor well for Vanuatu. And of course, all these winds are coming from a strong high that's to the south. Lastly now, I haven't forgotten the Minerva boats. They're, I'm sure, wanting to make their break to New Zealand. Pretty light air today, Saturday as well. Maybe southerlies on Saturday, but still light. On Sunday, south-southeast, about 15 to 20. On Monday, the winds back to the south-southeast, 20 knots or so, and further south, southeast winds, 25 knots plus. Now, also on Monday, I would say southeast winds from Minerva to 27. So if you waited through the weekend and decided to go on Monday, southeast winds all the way down to 27 south. A speed 20 to 25 knots. It's a fair amount of wind. Now Tuesday looks pretty good. The winds are changing direction. They look like easterlies for Tuesday. And that's going to be from Minerva all the way down to 30 south. Wednesday at 30 south, very light air. Maybe southeast, it might be 5 knots or so, maybe 5 to 10. Very light air. It looks like a motor to me. And on Thursday, light air as well, but coming from the southwest, about 10 knots, maybe 12 knots. So this voyage is about 4 days. Usually that's about what it takes us. And that's assuming roughly a 6-knot speed, 144 miles a day. The actual best day to go would be Tuesday, but I know nobody's going to wait that long. So if you do leave, say on Sunday, expect a bit of a sporty ride. Yeah, I know that there's a few people that don't like sporty, but it sort of fits to me. Anyhow, let us know what you do there in Minerva. We'll be tracking you from Monday on. Just remember, if you do leave early, there are a lot of strong winds out there, but the direction does change, and that could be a big savior for you, at least on the equipment. So let us know, and we'll be with you on Monday. See what the models have to say, and we'll bring everybody up to date on this trip. So any questions or comments, come now, and here's the boss.
Well, the couple of questions have come in on email. Good morning to Anna, plus Westy, Pewter and Southern Roads. Could David please discuss the current status of boats at 25 south? 25 south, and I think they're pretty well west. So if you could look at what their outlook is for them at 25 south.
What longitude?
It doesn't say the longitude, but I know they were at 175 when we got an email from Anna yesterday. So let's have a look here. But anyway, that's about where they are, 175 to 176. I think most of those boats. So and the people at Minerva heard all of that, so that's good. And
it's all light air.
It's all light air. All light air. I'm going to pass the microphone because they probably want to know about their future, not just light air today, but about their future. So here we are looking at boats currently at 25, and good morning to you guys.
Well, right now it looks pretty nice, right there at 25 south, assuming I'm just guessing, run line safe from Fiji to New Zealand. Not much air at all. The reason for that is you're sort of in a cull area, and that's a cull is a spot that's in between some highs, and there's just not much going on there. So really quite nice today. Now, I'm not sure what the real question is. Oh, yeah, 175 east, well, that's what we guessed. As the days roll on, for instance, looking at Saturday at 25 south, you're going to have southerlies, basically. And if you listen to the forecast that I just gave with the various days of the week, next week, those are the winds that you're going to have. So you've got a respite right now. But as that high starts to move a little bit more into the Tasman and spread its ridge, you will get stronger winds, definitely stronger winds.
All right, and there was a question on the sea state from Harry. He's up in Noumea and can't find it now, but he was a little bit concerned about the sea state if he left Noumea for Southport in the weekend and is wondering about perhaps delaying until Monday. So if you could have a look at that one as well. And whilst he's looking at sea states, because it requires going to different...
No, I've got it.
Oh, he's got it. Hang on a minute, Harry.
When sea state when?
Sea state. He's on streaming anyway.
Well, Harry, I'm not sure what day that you're talking about. When I flipped over to this, it happens to be set on Sunday, and in the Southport area.
Oh, no, he's in Noumea.
He's in Noumea now, but looking at Sunday between actually Noumea and Southport, we're looking at about 3 meters out of the south. And that's fairly normal, Harry, 3 meters. It'd be nice to have flat calm, but we're certainly not going to have that with these highs that are developing and moving across into the Tasman. So there you go. 3 meters, not too bad. You just don't want 3 meters and 25, 30 knots of wind. But anyhow, let us know when you're leaving and what your ETA is.
He's looking at He's looking at leaving Monday.
All
right. Anybody else? He's just going back to that because I think Harry said he was looking at delaying until Monday to let the seas go down. Anybody else? Yeah, hello, Adam. Good morning to you. Okay, I got you and Harry confused, both going the same directions. All right, so you are definitely going to look at going next week, so we'll be able to have a good look then. So that was Bravo. David wants the microphone back. Stand by.
Well, as you were talking, I was just looking at what the weather's going to be on the Queensland coast going about Friday of next week, assuming that you might leave late this weekend. But there is a low that's formed inland, and there is a lot of thunderstorm activity in the Queensland area, north of Bundaberg, all the way down, all the way down to Sydney. All up and down that coast, we've got a frontal band that's going to lie right along the coast, New South Wales and Queensland. But the low itself is, like I said, it's inland just a little bit, near, where is it, Charleville? Not sure how to pronounce that. Anyway, all you care about, though, are the clouds and the thunderstorms that are associated with that. So it's possible that arrival on and around that Friday time frame might be a little bit sporty because of that weather. Now, in terms of wind direction, all next week the winds are a very good direction for making that trip. Couldn't be better, really. More or less out of the east, southeast, that sort of thing. They tend to turn more northeast as you get close to the coast, and that's because of the shape of the isobars in relation to the high and the low, that low being inland. So that's the story there. It's normally a pretty easy trip, but let us know what you decide to do, We'll be back on Monday.
All right. Is there anybody else? I don't think I heard anybody. And I think I need a cup of coffee because I'm getting confused here. Is there anybody else? Any relays from anybody? All right, have a good weekend, everybody. I will update our weather here. It was on and off rain before. It's now steady rain, so not a very pleasant day for us. And the phone's going, so I'll leave you all in peace. Cheers, all. Could you get that on? Sorry.